Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Since Monday, we've been engaging heads of government, ministries and key agencies as Nigeria counts down to May 29, the halfway mark of this administration's mandate. Tonight, we spotlight two critical conversations. First, I sit down with the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkeruka Onyejocha, as we unpack the realities behind the new minimum wage, state-level implementation gaps, and the unresolved crisis of contract staffing in Nigeria's workforce. In part two, we shift focus to the Northwest, where the Governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Namadi, joins me for an exclusive interview. We'll assess his midterm scorecard from bold agricultural ambitions and infrastructure claims to the fallout from the tragic tanker explosion last year. Welcome on the program, everyone. You can join the conversation if you use the hashtag Beyond the Headlines. Remember to tag at TVC News NG and at Nifemi Oguntoye. Joining us now is the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkeruka Onyejocha, with a political career spanning over 2 decades, including her tenure as a 4-term member of the House of Representatives. She now plays a pivotal role in actualizing the renewed hope agenda under President Bola Tinubu's administration, from spearheading the Labor Employment and Empowerment Program, LEAP, to mediating critical wage negotiations amidst economic challenges. She stands at the forefront of shaping Nigeria's workforce future. Honorable Minister, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome. Good evening.
Glad to have you here. It's nearly a year now since President Tinubu signed the 70,000 naira minimum wage into law. While the federal government and some states have complied, just recently the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees talked about some 20 states that are yet to implement it for local government workers and primary school teachers. Let's begin with what your ministry's engagement is like in the implementation of this law and the steps you're taking to enforce compliance across board.
Well, thank you so much. I know that the last check, we got commitment that those that have not paid are going to pay. And they've made that known to workers that we are agitating. And so I believe that the people, the governors that have not paid, are making frantic effort to pay. And so I believe them, and I'm sure that the ministry is engaging them, and Nigerian workers should believe on renewed hope. We are focused and we are sure that the governors are responsible and they will live up to expectation. And I apologize on their behalf of those people who couldn't meet up as we speak or as at the last time we checked. So I believe that it's going to work out well.
What really do you think could be the problem? Because we have heard time without number that the federal allocation has almost tripled for some states. They have more money now. I remember speaking with the Nasarawa state governor who said they can now afford to fund state police. What could be the excuse for those who have not started implementing the minimum wage?
I don't think any governor had come up to give us in the ministry reasons not to pay. What the people we engaged with said is that they are making frantic effort to pay, that they will pay. And I've not seen any governor who said, oh, he can't pay, unlike before. So I'm sure that those that have not paid will pay because they have promised to pay.
So the increment was sometime in June or July last year. Some argue now that even 70K barely takes a worker home in today's economy when you consider inflation, rising food prices and transport costs. I'm wondering if your ministry has conducted any cost of living review since this new wage took effect.
Of course, the ministry, we are Nigerians and we go to market. We know that the prices of commodity has started coming down now. And for instance, like a few months ago, a bag of rice was going for 90 something, 100 and something, depending on brand. But as at this week, some brands have gone down to like 60 something to 70 something. And because of stability in exchange rate, I'm sure that it will still come down. And of course, the farmers have gone back to the farm. Nigerian rice are doing well in the market. And I believe that with the renewed hope agenda on agricultural inputs, that these commodities will still come down, because there are a lot of things going on in the agricultural sector.
We're counting on it as well, and I'm sure many Nigerians are looking forward to that. Let's touch on the Labor Employment and Empowerment Program that was officially launched last month. There's the ambitious goal of creating 2.5 million jobs within 2 years. What are the specific details on the implementation progress so far?
Yes, of course, it was launched on the 15th of April, and work is ongoing. But there are certain things that we need to do first, which we have started doing. As we speak now, 5 states are doing skill acquisition centers, nearly going to be completed in a few months' time. 3 states have completed skill acquisition centers that we start these programs. So we have gone to the implementation stage, and we are taking it one at a time. We've launched, we are putting a lot of things into places, and of course, you know, we are partnering with Subnational. So once the centers are set, the website is on, the portal is on, people are registering already, and then we are doing due diligence to make sure that we mark people who are interested in doing those trainings. Because it's not like before that, oh, you just push people to go and train even when they do not want to train on a particular thing. So now we are doing matching to make sure that one is taken into the area of choice. So you don't just take people to go learn skills that they are not interested. And so once we finish with the matching, and then we send them to geopolitical zones as required, then we take off. And one thing that is very different with these skills is that when we skill people up, we allow them to stay on the job, which will also reduce unemployment, meaning that those who have been trained will be employed, and so they will be working for government, which will also improve productivity.
So how is that going to work? Are you promising everybody you train a job with government, federal or state government?
The thing is about skill is that when this leap, when the skill for leap has been completed, you are training people who are interested in doing exactly what they have been trained. Because once you train somebody and the person becomes qualified, it's ready market already. You understand? Yeah. And so some will be taken by government. But our idea is that because productivity level is low and we want to grow our industries, we want to feed our factories. So we are partnering with factories, and they've given us the area of choice that they want people to be skilled on. And so once that is done, it's like you are training people who are going to be employed. So employment in making, that's why it is employment and empowerment program.
Indeed. I'm sure that Nigerians are interested in the timeline, because it sounds like as we speak now, no one really has been enrolled into the vocational and entrepreneurship program. When is that expected to commence specifically?
The portal is on, it's running.
Okay, so people can register as we speak now. But I'm saying, when does the program itself commence?
Right now, yes.
Yes, I get you. But I'm saying,
yes.
when is the program itself expected to commence?
The program will commence at least before end of June. Proper.
Right. We'll look forward to it.
By next week, we are going to be checking. We are going to be checking the centers and make sure that the equipment arrives so that they can take off.
All right.
What we have now is centers that have been completed. They have not been equipped, but we are expecting that the equipment will come very soon.
Skill acquisition.
And then the ones that we have already.
Yes. Please go ahead. You said the ones you have already?
No, the centers that we have before are going to be upgraded to be able to fit into the training that will be taken.
Skill acquisition and vocational training are critical, no doubt, for workforce development, and a lot of people are looking forward to this. They believe it's the game changer, not only getting the white collar job, but getting your hands trained and doing the job. But what kind of collaboration currently exists? You mentioned state government. Are you carrying along also the industrial training fund? Precisely, who are your partners in getting these young people trained?
Of course, industrial training fund is a ready partner, because they are even though they are doing training, but their core mandate is to fund the trainings. And as we speak, there are certain trainings that have been taken by NDE, like about 10,481 persons have been trained and satisfied through vocational training centers nationwide. But the point is that the quantum of the skills that we are taking is not going to be at that level. And those people, the kind of empowerment we are giving them is not quite sustainable. That's why we come up with LEAP, so that once you are trained, you have trained people, you have to give them empowerment that is commensurate to the training, that will be able to make them leave the street. Because what mostly, like we have skill acquisition and certification, when you give them certificates, they will go back to employment market and start looking for job. So LEAP is bridging this gap to make sure that once you train people who are desirous of being trained, it's not what we used to do, okay, give people training. You train them for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then you give them certificates for participating. How will 2 weeks training impact on the life? The concept sounds really good, but for many Nigerians, it's pretty much about not just a lofty idea, but the implementation. The truth of the matter is that it's not about concept sounding good. It's about thought out a program that will solve the problem. Remember, I have been in the house for 16 years, and I have been sending my budget to NDE and to NPC and to several agencies, and we have been doing training. But the truth is, all those trainings that we have given to our people, what did it amount to? Did it remove them from the street, or did people just attend those trainings and believe, oh, they have done what their honorable member or senators or whoever have told them to do, like, oh, it's compulsory, somebody like it's okay, telling you go and do this good. No, we have noticed that those trainings, we are just encouraging people to still go back to street, because now you have given them certificate to say they have been trained on XYZ. They will use it to go and be looking for work.
All right.
But now, this program is saying you need training. We need a trained workforce. We need training to enhance productivity. We need training to help our industries. We need training to help our factories. Because even Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that most times the professionals that are qualified to even help them do what they are doing are very little, because we are doing less on training. And so first and foremost is to get it right, that you have trained individuals who are qualified to do the work and who are so desirous to give back to society and to also make ends meet for their family and friends and welfare of their people. And so what does this thing mean? What it simply means is that you're going into training. You're not going into training that you go and train and somebody is giving you maybe 100 naira, 5,000 naira, or those kind of things that will not make sense. So now you are being trained, you're going to be a professional, you're going to be professional in what you're doing, and you're going to have show impact and of course make impact to be able to help our economy, to be able to help our industries come back.
All right.
Because you can open up business today, but getting people to help you run it becomes a problem.
I hear you clearly.
A gap.
Let me just butt in quickly, Honorable Minister, because the goal is to create 2.5 million jobs. What specific sectors or industries are being targeted here? And how do you intend to ensure sustainability of these employment opportunities you have talked about?
The training, we have a vocational training. We have a training on renewable energy. We have training on digital training, that because the world has moved on. You understand? So the digital skills training is there. Business process outsourcing, like you stay in Nigeria and you still get remote work. You can work for American company. You can work, which is also happening now. But the thing is that it's not being coordinated. So we want to house it under Ministry of Labor and Employment so that we'll be able to track this training. Of course, there's technical, there's vocational, there's entrepreneurship training. And so once these things are done, it's going to impact on the society, unlike not being deliberate. This is being deliberate about skilling. This is being deliberate about training our people to be employable.
All right.
If you call out 1,000 people for employment today, you may not get up to 100 that is so qualified. And it's not that they are not intelligent, but have we provided them those things that will make them to be able to be up to speed in what they are learning?
Quickly, you mentioned that the portal is up now. I'd like us to just talk about those who can take advantage of this training and how. So what makes you qualify, for instance, to benefit from this program? What makes you to qualify? In that portal, if you open it, there's a section that is for jobs, for people who are so qualified, because there are people who are qualified but they are looking for job. You understand? So when you press that particular jobs, it will show you job vacancies, because Nigerians have already started posting vacancies. Some also are posting their qualification. So, and another place, you have a digital, a digital skill where you can upload and learn some subjects that will maybe enhance you to get work. Because people who are posting vacancies, they will tell you the area of competence that they require. So I'm guessing that the website is... And there are people who are just posting their CV and say, I am unemployed for so years, I need to be employed. And so we are getting those numbers, because you also need to know the numbers of people that are unemployed and know even this 2.5 million. You know how many Nigerians that are in the street today? So with 2.5 million, be able to scratch the surface. So we need to know, so that it will help us in planning
for this second year, the third year that we are entering.
I'm guessing the portal you're talking about is the leap.gov.ng, LEEP, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, beautiful. So that we can get our viewers to also try it and, give us feedback on on how this works. Let us move on to other developments within your ministry. We saw last year the introduction of the expatriate employment levy, and it was seeking to promote skill transfer and also balance economic growth. But how's the ministry ensuring that this policy achieves its intended objectives without discouraging foreign investment, because this administration is also big on FDI?
Yes, it will not encourage, because anything that you're doing and you're not doing according to law, what is in our laws? You understand? For expatriate quota, they will give you the number of people that you're supposed to bring in here. Okay? And so if somebody had gone to shortchange the system, instead of maybe 10,000, then we'll have 20,000. Are you supposed to leave them and say, okay, because they are going to go? There are people who will work when your laws are correct, and when there are infractions and even you sanction them, it will not make them go. What we are trying to do is to create a system that works for all. We are welcoming people in our country. We want them to obey the law the way we encourage our people to obey the law when they go out. And of course, the ministry is partnering with immigration, Ministry of Immigration, so that we have a seamless transition. To ask that, oh, we should leave it so that investors will not go, it's no, 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 no. But investors that are responsible, that will obey our laws and will obey the agreement we signed with them, we'll welcome them, and we'll also cooperate with them and work with them and make their stay here very enjoyable and profitable.
Another,
so it's not going to in any way discourage investors.
Another contentious issue, Honorable Minister, is contract staffing, especially in the banking and financial services sector. What specific steps are you taking to address these growing gray area of employment, particularly in sectors where exploitation has been widely alleged?
You know, back in the days of House of Representatives, participated in a motion where we found that people doing contracting staff forever, especially in banking industry. Even apart from banks, individuals take people. They will not even give them, there's no agreement. They will just take them like what they do in some factories. Some will just be paying them 1,000. You don't have any allowance, you don't have no leave, nothing. So the ministry frowns at it because it's an infraction. Occupational safety and health frowns at it because you must respect every worker. Every worker in Nigeria is as important as the other. Okay? So we are frowning because what it simply means is that it kills the energy. The person will not be able to concentrate, and it doesn't have, you cannot grow with contract staffing. There's no promotion. So how will you work without being promoted? How will you work? You don't know when they can wake up any day and sack you and say, oh, it's a contract staff.
And that's the thing.
So,
that's the thing, Honorable Minister, because
legislation, there's a lot of
yes,
motions that have been passed by National Assembly to stop this, but people do not.
It's still fester, Honorable Minister, because as we speak today,
that
it has even become a norm for multinationals, especially tech companies that come to Nigeria. They just contract these positions out and then they let you go at will. I understand there's a growing pressure from some labor unions for government to tighten regulations around outsourcing and casualization of labor. But my question really has to do with whether or not your ministry is engaging with stakeholders in these sectors to
of
nail
course, we are
this in the
engaging with stakeholders, but very soon we are going to come up with a strict guideline and policy, and also approach National Assembly and make sure that it has the teeth to bite. Because sometimes people, like I say it always, unless people are punished for any infraction and they go to jail, if they need to go to jail, or they pay the kind of fine that will make them not to do it again, they will not stop. So it's high time that we come together as a country to say no to this evil being perpetrated by our people. ILO Convention condemns it.
It does.
So we can't sit back here and indulge them. So I know that very soon the ministry will come up with a lasting solution to make sure that those infractions are dealt with.
It's almost midterm for the Tinubu administration, and there were a lot of promises in 2023, especially with job creation in their millions. How are you guys doing in that regard? Because you know what the unemployment rate is like today, and the concerns from Nigerians who really believed in the renewed hope agenda.
Yes, for Ministry of Labour to come up with LEAP means that we are serious about it. And the president launched it last month on the 15th of April. And it's not that we launched it and then we went back to sit down. No, we've gone around looking at the skills centers that we have, and we have tried to bring up the things that we need to do so that we start in earnest.
And then we're looking forward to seeing how that will impact directly.
And it's not that, even while we are doing what we were doing with LEAP, NDE had continued to train people. Skills acquisition and the certification, they are still working. And right now, apart from the LEAP, the ministry is engaging Midwell Industry Vive Technologies Limited to train about 70,000 youths in digital manufacturing and technology-driven sector. They are bringing their equipment here and bringing their expertise here, and they will train people to manufacture technology-driven sets. So a lot has been happening. A lot is happening in health. A lot is happening in education. A lot is happening in immigration. So everybody is working, because if you check the 8-point agenda of Mr. President, every ministry is required and have aligned to work according to those 8-point agendas. And what it simply means is that everything that the president or APC government had promised is gradually doing the work. We are walking the talk. We are not just like, otherwise before you would have heard about LEAP and nothing will happen again. You would have heard about one policy or the other. But every policy you hear from ministry, department, and agencies are being followed up with implementation.
Let's talk about politics for a bit, because you have been in the House of Reps you were in the House of Reps for 16 years. I mean, that was a long time, really.
Yes.
And you understand the politics of things, especially in the East, where you're from, how they voted in time past, even in 2023. It's midterm into the Tinubu administration. How much inroads would you say is had into that region? And how much support do you envisage is likely to get, seeing how poorly the APC performed in 2023?
The truth of the matter is that I don't like that narrative, because if people in APC did not fight other parties would have gotten enough votes to make them president of this country. That's the truth. So the people in APC performed. After all, I was in PDP till 2018. I joined APC in 2018, and I won my election in 2019, and brought a senator, brought House of Reps, brought House of Assembly. I mean, so the pattern of voting also depends on the people who are leading. The current leaders of APC in Southeast now have been doing their work. Even when they said nobody can enter the Southeast, that there won't be election. But we had the election. The leaders we have in APC today are leaders who are focused and telling their people the need for us to get into national politics, not regional politics. And of course, you know that Southeast cannot produce a president with 5 states. So they need collaboration of other zones. They are understanding it now. And that is why you see, as we speak, every week, people are decamping to APC, unlike before. So I can tell you, by God's grace, if Jesus tarries, that 2027 will be a different ball game. 5 states we have in Southeast, I am sure that will win for APC, and particularly that is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That is very
optimistic. If you see that if you see the summit that was launched today, Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Imo, you see cross of APC leaders that are in that hall. If people sit down and check, it wasn't like that before. Before, you see few people coming here to say they're APC. We didn't have governor before in 2 states. We had just one, Rochas Okorocha, the former governor. But today we have Ebonyi. And Ebonyi, if you check Ebonyi, they had produced a Senate president in the past. This former Senate president is APC today. So with other former governors and other leaders, and including members of National Assembly and senators. So where will the opposition vote come from?
Your
Is it
optimism that your party will win all the 5 states in the Southeast is very huge.
Grace, yes.
Yes, but because the other side that you're probably not considering is the fact that the region, you know, did very well in the 2023 elections. Some say it is an appetizer to see what is possible if perhaps they are able to collaborate with other regions in the country. You don't think that's a critical factor as we count down to 2027?
The issue is this. Politics is not wish. Politics is work and convincing people. Politics is with the people. It's not rocket science. And I'm telling you, I'm a grassrooter. I'm home every month. And I can tell you that I was a commissioner and I was a local government chairman. So I will say I live in the village. What I experience now and what is happening is not as it were in the past. People now are understanding that, hey, listen, we need to join others to be able to get what we desire.
Well.
And they know it's not by sitting down without supporting. You see a lot of people calling out support for President Tinubu on their own and telling us to come and welcome them. Those are the people that do the votes now.
Well, I said, perhaps we'll see how that plays out. But let's talk about you for a minute. A lawmaker, Amobi Oga, I'm sure you're following this story yourself, formally petitioned INEC, accusing you of forging 63 polling unit results in the last election, and that INEC staff reportedly disowned those results during tribunal proceedings. Your media advisor already dismissed these claims as the work of detractors. But I'm sure that Nigerians deserve clarity, and you also wouldn't shy away from the opportunity of reacting to this development yourself. How do you react to this?
What opportunity? Listen, I do not whip or flog a dead horse. Whatever he was alleging, he did that in tribunal. And I won that case in tribunal. Go and check the proceeding of the tribunal. And I believe that there are more issues to discuss. Like my aide dismissed it, I'm also dismissing it. It's crying of a drowning person.
But
And
it also,
I do not.
it matters, Honorable Minister,
I do not.
what is said about you. Because what the lawmaker said, for instance, is that the Court of Appeal ruled against your petition. And he mentioned that the documents you presented weren't the authentic results certified by INEC. You're not worried about that?
Worried about what I know that is not true. How? How am I worried about it? About what? Is he not the person that wrote a petition that I bribed the judges and gave them money and he saw them from my house? And I've sued him to come and bring evidence.
All right. We'll wrap this show shortly, Honorable Minister.
And in that petition, that he wrote, he swore an affidavit. He swore an affidavit that he saw me bribing judges 10 billion. To do what? Okay, he did not contest anything about my local government election, my own local government. I won my booth, I won my ward, I won my local government. That's the test of how you know a politician. And he's quarreling about his own local government. He can quarrel. But that matter was decisively dealt with. And I can tell you.
Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll talk about allegations that Mr. President is working towards a one-party state. I'd like to hear what you think about that and what you also perceive the future would be for the ruling party after this midterm celebration. But that's after this report where we are looking at the Nigerian political landscape, which once again is shifting, especially under this administration where we've seen a wave of political defections from various opposition parties moving to the ruling APC. The Honorable Minister also alluded to this earlier on in the conversation.
Since the return of democracy in 1999, Nigeria adopted the multi-party system. Back then, three major political parties emerged: the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which held power at the center, the Alliance for Democracy, strong in the southwest, and the All People's Party, which was predominantly a northern party. PDP took the lead, winning 28 states, AD won 6, all in the southwest, and APP at just 2. By 2003, the PDP had expanded its dominance to 31 states. The AD lost ground, holding on to just 1 state, Lagos, under Bola Tinubu. That moment marked the beginning of a power shift. Lagos became the stronghold of a new political movement that would soon evolve to become the AC, then the ACN, then eventually become the APC we know today. By 2008, realignment was underway again. Adams Oshiomhole became the first Action Congress governor in the South-South. Rauf Aregbesola reclaimed Osun State in 2010 after a long-term battle court. The ACN expanded across the Southwest, and by 2013, joined forces with the factions of the PDP, CPC, and ABGA to the All Progressive Congress. That alliance changed everything, leading to the PDP's historic defeat in 2015. Fast forward to 2023, APC holds 16 states, PDP has 10, and the Labour Party just 1. Political analyst says President Tinubu, who played a key role in the original APC merger, is once again at the center of this new wave of realignment. For the All Progressive Congress, the influx of defectors is to boost public image, create momentum, and solidify its dominance in Nigeria's multi-party political system.
When members, begin to understand, to align, because they have mentioned it's alignment, not even defection. They align with the manifestos of the current ruling party, the APC, and they say, okay, now we want to be part of this very beautiful manifesto because they realize, it's the party to beat, and it has a good programs for the beloved country.
Opposition leaders are raising concerns, warning that Nigeria needs a strong, credible opposition to hold the government accountable. They are concerned that the ongoing defection, including with the National Assembly, could tip the balance too far. When notable members defect from the opposition parties like PDP, it creates a perception that these parties are weakened and plagued by internal crisis, which can demoralize their support base.
Well, I don't think that we will have a good house or a good National Assembly if everybody is saying yes. Everybody's yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. It's not good for our democracy. There should be a voice of opposition to critique whatever the ruling party is doing. Yes.
One thing is clear. The political chessboard in Nigeria is witnessing some strategic moves, and the next few years will be critical. The National Assembly is not just a legislative body. It's a central force in Nigeria's democratic evolution. Its actions during political realignment shapes the direction for governance, reflect national sentiment, and safeguard constitutional order. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Abuja.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. My guest is the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Honorable Nkeruka Onyejiocha. Thank you for staying the course on the program, Honorable Minister.
Thank you.
Well, our conversation is so interesting, we had to just keep dragging it. But you heard the details in that report. What do you make of the criticism that this administration is drowning the voice of the opposition and that there's an agenda to make Nigeria a one-party state?
My grandmother said, if your opponent don't have anything to say, you say you're looking like monkey. Have you seen anybody that look like monkey? That's the truth. So if you don't, will you stop opposition people to say something bad about APC? How? So it's expected. And that's why people like me, I do not join issues. Because let me tell you, if you're beating somebody, the person must be crying. How would they not try to find excuse for their failure? Check the last election for people who will come and be writing nonsense petition. The last election was done under stringent circumstance because of president. Oh, he has too much money. They removed money. He still won. Okay, all this staggered election out of season election, didn't APC win? Okay, and then people, when they removed fuel subsidy, they also forgot that all the contending candidates said that the first thing they would do when they get to the office is to remove fuel subsidy. I was in the house. There was no provision for fuel subsidy for 2023. And yet, the president took a bold step and did what everybody had agreed. And yet, they still said he didn't do well. But you need to take decision that is right, even when it hurts. Because after the heat, it will cool down. That's nature. Now people are beginning to see the dividends of taking that action. For how long will you postpone an evil day? For how long will you postpone a decision that will get this country right in the into the right track? For how long are you going to wait?
But one thing is certain.
Procrastination is evil.
One thing is certain.
Hold on. So
all right.
the point is that APC is doing well. Yes, we had the first brunt of hardship. Everybody agreed, and President agreed. There was a stakeholders forum that I chaired, and I was telling them that President is also hurting, that the fuel increase has also affected him. He's a Nigerian first and foremost.
Yeah, but there's no way you can compare how the president is affected, Honorable Minister, with the way the average Nigerian is affected. But I just wanted to follow up on the comment you made earlier.
No,
what we have seen.
It's not the same, but the point is that he's a human being. He has empathy. It pains him.
Yes, the empathy, many Nigerians...
No, let me tell you the popular quote of Mr. President. Said, we cannot spend our people and save money.
But Honorable Minister, the empathy that the Nigerians have talked about, is perhaps in cutting the cost of governance. Not, we have seen some very controversial things recently in Nigeria, that Nigerians are wondering, what's the budget language of people in power as regards to what they are going through. But what we have seen, Honorable Minister, is a handshake. Just hold on for a minute.
If I earn as a minister, you will say, okay, why am I still minister?
Yes, well,
part of governance. And have you investigated those people that you say, oh, they have bloated budget? Have you investigated their expenditure and what they spend their money for? That is the conversation that we should have. And that's the investigation that you should do. Maybe by the time you finish those investigations, you will say, okay, they should even add more money.
Well, talking about investigation, I'm sure you're following...
There's a lot of speculation in the air.
I'm sure you're following...
There's a lot of speculation in the air.
If you allow me for a minute, Honorable Minister, you were member of House of Reps for 16 years. I'm sure you're also following the fact that budget padding is on the news again, and that there's a disagreement as regards a particular 6.93 trillion naira projects in the 2025 budget. I mean, you have seen this process for 4 different terms. What really do you think is happening, vis-a-vis the trust deficit that currently exists?
Somebody that alleged that has to prove. No, I will not speculate. It's anybody that alleged that have to prove it.
But you must have experienced. You must have experienced this allegation as a lawmaker yourself. When you hear budget padding,
that's what I'm saying. The point is this: I'm telling you something. The truth of the matter is, anybody who alleges have to prove it. As a lawmaker that I was, I had money for constituency project, which was not given to me cash. What it was you state the proposal of what project you want to be done in your constituency, and it will be costed according to your own allocation, and a contractor goes to do it. But over the years, they say, oh, we collect, even the people who are there now say, oh, we collect trillions, we collect billions. They are there now, let them collect it and come and give us now, let's see.
Well, one of your colleagues recently mentioned that there is no lawmaker taking less than $1 billion as constituency project as we speak. And that's huge because...
When I was there, my constituency project was not up to $1 billion.
Yes, but I'm telling you what we are hearing now in 2025.
It's 10 billion per zone. It's 10 billion per zone, and they will share it amongst the members and the senators. Yeah,
perhaps the figures have increased. That so if, you have been busy. You have been busy with the Ministry of Labor. You probably don't know that the figures have changed, because a lawmaker mentioned in, I think it was in Oyo State, that there's no lawmaker taking less than $1 billion as constituency project.
I hope he's done the work of $1 billion for the constituency.
Absolutely. But before we go, you know, we were talking about what has happened with, you know, politicians just changing parties, especially now it's PDP moving to APC and quite a number of others. We have seen a handshake across parties. Mr. President was in Anambra, and what he said, and he spoke very highly of Governor Soludo. He was scheduled to be in your state tomorrow. I understand that visit has now been postponed. What's the thin line between Mr. President's magnanimity along party lines and the allegations that he's wooing them to his party ahead of the big one in 2027?
Because Mr. President's 8-point agenda will span even beyond 2031. So he will need a lot of stakeholders, especially governors, that will help him to drive this renewed hope that will remove Nigeria from quagmire. And so there's nothing wrong if Mr. President is extending hand of fellowship. Okay, do you like the people that would say, oh, you're not in my party? So they will hold allocation. They will try to stifle the state. Is that what you want? So President himself is a Nigerian. He's been governor before. He knows that he needs the governors to support him, while the governors are also seeking his own support to be able to do something for their states.
All right.
These are issues of a president who understands the terrain, who understands the workings, who's learned the rope. He's been a senator, he's been governor, he's been a national leader without any position.
All right.
And he's been mentoring people even as a national leader. So he understands. Like what I'm saying, when I was talking to him about what we need to do for labor, he understands it and even simplified it for me.
Good place to live it.
Somebody who is well read.
Yes. We have to go now. We have to go now. We have spent almost an hour having this conversation. The Jigawa State Governor was supposed to join us.
Thank you for having me.
But he didn't show up. So thank you so much.
I also believe, let me mention that National Director of Employment, which I oversight, has trained and empowered 475 individuals within the 2 years.
All right.
And we want him to do more.
Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkeruka Oyejocha, thank you so much for talking to us on Beyond the Headline.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's our show tomorrow. That's our show today. We're back tomorrow, I beg your pardon, for a fresh edition. See you again.